everyone. My name is Lisa Rayleigh, and today we are going to go on a tour of our campus, and we're going to focus on our arrival and dismissal traffic flows. So come along for the ride. We are entering on our access road that comes directly off of Highway 54 onto our lovely campus here. This is for our arrival and dismissal. The flows go the same way, which is really convenient for people like me who don't need any extra help being confused. So we're going to follow this access road here. We're going to turn right to go up the hill, and we're going to take a right turn to head up the hill, and we are going to follow our early learning pre-K kindergarten flow. You're going to take a right at your first little road here, and we're going to follow the outside lane through our West Campus parking lot. Please do observe that our speed limit through here is 10 miles an hour. You can even go slower if you'd like, especially if you're moving through an area where you have students who are looking to park, or they've already parked and they're walking toward their classes. We use every square inch of this campus, so please, once you enter, keep your eyes open and focus on where you're driving and what's going on around you, because there is always something going on around you in these parking lots. So this is where the students park. So they're generally load from that way this way, so we go this wide way here. This also gives us plenty of room to stage the traffic flow as cars start building up at the busiest times of arrival. Speaking of arrival, you can arrive as early as 7 o'clock for our pre-K and kindergarten classes. If you come from between 7 and 7:30, we ask you to park at the top of the hill and walk your child in at the back door where there's an entrance. You'll see there's a rampway, and you're going to walk the children in between 7 and 7:30. If you get here just before 7:30, go ahead and plan on bringing them around in the regular arrival line. So again, for early arrival, once you get to this point, you're going to continue straight up the hill and park in any of these parking spots right in front of the building or across from it. Walk your child in the door that's across the breezeway. Walk them in there, and you'll check them in for before care from 7 to about 7:25. If you get here later than that, you're going to need to go ahead and join the line for regular arrival. As you come up the hill and get to this point, you'll need to wait until about 7:40. At that time, we will let the line through, and the students will begin being unloaded from your cars. So we'll proceed that way so you can see what I'm talking about. As we come around the corner, you'll notice our staff members are stationed out front waiting to unload your child in the morning. Just follow the traffic flow and stop right behind the car that's directly in front of you. All right, at this point, you will meet staff members who are waiting to help your student out of the car. Please have them stay seated in their car and in their car seats or booster seats until we get to the stopping point here. It's just for safety purposes. We ask that you don't have them standing up in the car or out of the sunroof. Please have them seated. Since there's traffic going everywhere on campus and students walking around, it's hard to foresee when you might have to stop quickly. So please have them stay in their seats until it's time to get out of the car. At this point, this is where we will load your student also at the end of the day. And if you'll notice, we have cones out here that correspond to our colors that will show up on the smartboard for your students. You came by, when you came into the traffic flow, a scout called in your carpool number, and the numbers are called in sequence of the order of the cars. And so you're going to line up here. The numbers will show up on the boards in your students' rooms, and they will know which color to come to. And just through the sequencing, your car is going to end up right in the spot where they're going to be coming to meet you. It's a great system. So just make sure that you stay in line, stay attentive to the car in front of you, and mind the gap. Once you get to this point, please watch out for our security guard. He will be standing here at the crosswalk. He is allowing traffic coming from the right and from the left to come through here, as well as students who are parking in the west parking lot who are heading to the high school for classes. If you only had early learning students at this point, you can just exit the campus by following this traffic flow right off of the road. For our elementary and middle school students drop off, in the morning during arrival, you will come up the hill this way, the same way you turned right coming for early learning, but you're going to continue straight up the hill, and you can turn left into this parking lot here. Sometimes you'll see those orange cones lined up in between these two lanes. There isn't a set time that we pull those cones out. It just depends on how traffic is flowing. Our security team is working to make sure traffic stays flowing on campus as well as out on Highway 54. So as long as traffic isn't backing up onto 54, we're going to leave these cones put away so that our people can get through here and save the time so you don't have to go through the loop at the top of the hill. If the cones are here, we ask that you continue up the hill, just go straight up, continue to the top of the hill, turn left in front of the office building, and then you're going to join this side of the traffic and you'll get to this point and be able to turn right to head toward the drop-off point. If the cones again aren't here, you can just turn left into this point and go straight on through and save the time of the loop. The only time we'll drop those cones is if we've got traffic backing up onto Highway 54. And again, our security team is watching that, and they're minding making our traffic flow great and the traffic out on the highway flow well as well. So we're going to go ahead and proceed to the elementary and middle school drop-off. You would have either turned left into this spot if you were coming straight onto campus without an early learning student, or right into this spot if you had an early learning student. And we're going to continue through the parking lot. Now again, be aware there are teachers parking in this lot, there's students parking in this lot, there's people walking all over the place, so please, please, please be paying attention and drive slowly and do not be on your cell phone. This is our merge point. So as traffic is coming from the football side of the campus entrance, they will be coming around the back side of the baseball field, and they will meet here. We're coming from this direction, so when traffic hits here, we just take turns. So this side will go, and then we'll go, and then that side, and then we'll go. So just be courteous and join the flow and take your turn. We're going to snake through the parking lot. We are using every square inch of the parking lot as staging area for our pickup. We're trying to get as many cars as we can onto campus. We also try to keep the line moving as quickly as possible. To do that, we would really appreciate your help in just paying attention to the pickup line and its flow. Please mind the gap and don't leave a lot of space between you and the car. Of course, we want to leave a little bit of safe space, but not a lot. Please save your phone conversations for another time. We would really love for you to not be on your cell phones or texting as you're driving. There's students coming and going everywhere, and we really have their safety as our first priority. So we just ask that you cooperate that way. Again, if you've got littles that are in the car with you and you've been in the dismissal line as you're coming around to pick up older students, please have your students stay seated in your car just for safety, because again, you don't know when you might have to stop quickly. So in the mornings for arrival, you're going to keep following the flow. Follow the car in front of you until it stops in the line. And this is our arrival and dismissal area. So in the mornings, you can drop off here at this door as early as 7 o'clock. If you have a middle schooler, they're going to continue inside to the middle school, to the gym. And if you have an elementary student, they will go up to the cafeteria to hang out until their teachers come to get them. If you arrive at 7:30 or later, your student will go in this door, or they'll go down to the middle school, whichever way their classroom is. You're going to come along this way. As soon as your car stops, you let your child jump right on out. There's going to be staff out here making sure everybody's safe and watching what's going on in the mornings, and so we just keep the traffic flowing as quickly as possible. Please make sure your students have all of their stuff together, their lunch boxes, their backpacks, their sports equipment, have their breakfast put away. Once they get to the stop place to jump out in the morning, they need to be ready to hit the ground running, like the Marines in that commercial. Get the stuff, grab it, and jump out of the car so we can keep the line moving and get everybody to class on time. In the afternoons, for dismissal, the traffic flow is exactly the same. You're still going to follow the car that's right in front of you, and you're going to end up along this walkway here at a particular pickup spot. Your students are in their classrooms, in their dismissal rooms, watching their smartboard, waiting for their name, their carpool number, and a dismissal location to pop up on a chart on their screen. Once they see that, that's their indicator to pick up all their stuff and get down to their spot. It's their job to remember what spot that they're supposed to go to. It's your job to just follow the car in front of you and don't stop until that car in front of you is stopped. We ask that you don't drive along looking for your child and to see which spot they're going to be at. If they paid attention, they will be at the spot that your car ends up at through the sequencing of the numbers being called in. When the scout calls the number down at the bottom, that's when the number shows up in their classroom. So they have plenty of time to get their stuff and get to your dot. It all works just beautifully together if everybody does their part. So just follow the line until the car in front of you stops. Again, we ask you to mind the gap so that we can keep the line moving. If you happen to be the first car in the line, we load 8 cars at a time. As you can see, there's 8 stations here. If you happen to be the first car, we ask that you pull all the way up to right here. This is the A station loading spot. And then all the cars behind you will pull up and they will end up at all of their subsequent spots. We also ask that you would share this video information with anybody else that is going to be driving carpool for you, whether it's grandparents or aunts and uncles or neighbors or childcare. Please share this video with them as well so that they know how things go, because the more information you have, the better things flow. And we just ask for your cooperation in that, and we really, really appreciate it. If for some reason your child didn't make it down to their dismissal spot in a reasonable amount of time, and we'll wait a few seconds just to make sure that we give them time to get to their spot, but if they don't make it for some reason, we'll ask you to continue around the corner down here to our recall or missing lot. Of course, your child isn't missing, we know they're here, but they were just missing from their pickup spot. So we'll continue down into the recall lot, and I'll show you where that is. Right down here around the corner. Turn right into the recall lot here, where a staff member will take your number again, and we will call it again to make sure your student knows where you are and where to come. And if you will, just follow the instructions given by the staff member, or just pull right along here and stay to the right side of the lot. So if there's people behind you whose child has already been loaded before yours, they can get around you and continue to exit out of the lot. So that's our arrival and dismissal flow. If you have any questions about it, please feel free to reach out to me. You can email me at lisa.raley@tcslions.org or call the office, and Leah would be glad to help you with any questions that you might have. Looking forward to a great year.